When you grow up in the spotlight, people love to write your story for you. They tell you how to act, how to dress, how to sound. They draw boxes around your name and say, "This is who she is, this is where she belongs." But Taylor Swift didn't stay in their boxes. She set them on fire. She started as a country sweetheart, singing about high school crushes and hometown dreams. But as she grew, she realized something big. People wanted her to stay small, predictable, palatable. They liked her better when she didn't speak too loudly, didn't take up too much space, didn't challenge the narrative. But Taylor, she had other plans. She shifted into pop, then indie folk, then synth glam. Every time people thought they had her pinned down, she spun the compass. And the world watched, sometimes with awe, sometimes with criticism, as she rewrote the rules of what a woman in music could be. She didn't wait for permission. She didn't apologize. She just evolved. Because writing your own script means saying, "I'm allowed to change. I'm allowed to outgrow what used to fit. I don't owe consistency to anyone but myself." That kind of power doesn't come from perfection. It comes from choice, from having the courage to break away from the version of yourself that the world finds easiest to digest. And yeah, some people won't like it. They'll say you've lost your way, that you're not who you used to be. But here's the thing. Growth looks like rebellion to people who benefit from your silence. So when your life starts to shift, don't panic, don't shrink, just grab the pen. Write a new chapter. Burn the old script if you have to. You're not here to play a role someone else wrote for you. You're here to be the author. Let's be real. Heartbreak is inevitable. Disappointment, guaranteed. People will hurt you, leave you, betray your trust. The world gives out pain like it's candy. But what you do with it, that's where the power lives. Taylor Swift didn't hide her heartache. She didn't pretend to be unbothered. She sang about it. She turned it into poetry, into anthems, into multi-platinum albums. And she didn't just share the pain, she reclaimed it. She made art out of the mess. Songs like All Too Well aren't just breakup ballads. They're blueprints for emotional alchemy, the ability to take something raw and brutal and turn it into something lasting, something beautiful. Taylor made it okay to feel deeply, to cry, to rage, to journal at 2 a.m., and then, when the time was right, to package all that emotion into power, to release it, to let it rise. And here's the kicker. People mocked her for it. They called her dramatic, over-emotional, too much. But she knew better. They weren't criticizing the emotion, they were afraid of what a woman could do with it. And what she did was build an empire, because pain is a currency. And if you learn how to hold it, channel it, and speak truth through it, you're unstoppable. Taylor used every heartbreak as a stepping stone. Every shade of sadness, from whispered disappointment to full-blown devastation, became part of her evolution. She didn't pretend to move on just to make others comfortable. She moved through, she made pain visible, and in doing so she gave everyone else permission to feel what they needed to feel. Because there's nothing weak about vulnerability. It's not a crack in the armor, it is the armor. The kind that's forged in fire, in lyrics, in late nights, where your chest aches but you still hit record. So if you're holding something heavy, something sharp and unfinished, don't rush to bury it. Write it, speak it, sing it if you need to. Because your story might just be the thing that helps someone else survive theirs. Pain isn't the end, it's the beginning of your next great verse. You don't have to be famous for people to misread you, to misunderstand your intentions, to take one chapter of your life and make it your whole story. It happens in high school, in jobs, online. People love to put you in a box and slap a label on it like they know what you're made of. But Taylor Swift, she didn't let them finish the sentence. She picked up the mic and told her own story first. Because when people start talking, you've got two choices: let their version define you or write your own headline. Taylor's headlines were written for her for years. She's too boy crazy. She's playing the victim. She's over. She's back. She's a snake. She's a saint. She watched the public twist her image, her relationships, her motives, like a funhouse mirror she never asked to step into. But instead of breaking down, she flipped the script. Literally, she turned reputation into a war cry. She turned gossip into gold. She took the insults and made them lyrics, wore them like armor, danced in them, owned them. Because power isn't just about surviving judgment, it's about owning the frame around your name. You don't get to choose whether people talk, but you do get to decide what they hear from you. Taylor's not the only one who's ever been misunderstood. Maybe you've been there too, misrepresented, talked about behind your back, judged by people who don't know you. It's painful. It can make you want to disappear, to stay quiet, to retreat. But Taylor's path shows us a different way. She didn't shrink, she spoke, she turned the spotlight toward her truth. And in doing so, she reminded us that silence isn't always strength. Sometimes power is saying, "This is who I am, this is what happened, and I will not be rewritten." So whether it's a room full of strangers or just one person making assumptions, don't give them the pen. You're the one who lives this story. You're the only one qualified to tell it. Speak it, sing it, etch it into the world in your own words. Because if you don't tell your story, someone else will, and they'll get it wrong. There's this lie the world keeps telling that you have to choose. You can either be strong or sensitive, bold or gentle, powerful or emotional. But Taylor Swift never bought into that. She showed us that you can cry in the verse and strike like lightning in the chorus. You can be delicate and still destroy a stage. You can write love songs and revenge tracks. You can carry grace in one hand and a glittering sword in the other. 'Cause real power, it's layered. It holds contradictions. Think about her lyric, "Just because you're clean, don't mean you don't miss it." That line doesn't come from a place of denial or weakness. It's about honesty. It's about acknowledging that healing isn't always neat. Sometimes you rise, but you still remember the fall. Sometimes you let go, but you still feel the echo. Taylor doesn't hide that duality. She embraces it. She's been soft enough to feel every heartbreak and savage enough to take back her masters. She's been publicly torn down, then stood taller than ever, grabbing her power back without losing her feeling. That's a blueprint. Because you don't have to harden to survive. You don't have to erase your softness to be taken seriously. You just have to stop apologizing for being real. Let yourself cry. Let yourself rage. Let yourself grow thorns without plucking the petals. Some days you'll be the girl writing in her diary. Some days you'll be the woman dropping a surprise album at midnight, and both of those versions, they are you. They're valid. They're worthy. They're whole. So if you've ever felt like you're too emotional to lead, too sensitive to speak up, too soft to fight back, remember Taylor. Remember the albums full of ache and glory, the bridges that broke us, the comebacks that healed us. You can feel everything and still walk away unshaken. That's not weakness. That's power. There comes a point in every journey when you start to outgrow who you used to be. Its clothes don't fit the same, the dreams shift shape. The people around you don't recognize you anymore, and maybe you don't either. That's when fear creeps in. Because change always feels a little like betrayal, especially when others want you to stay the same. But Taylor Swift didn't let fear stop her. She embraced it. She moved from Nashville to New York. She went from country to pop, from confessional lyrics to folklore and fables. She didn't just evolve, she reinvented herself again and again on her own terms. And through it all, she stayed rooted in what she loved: storytelling, connection, the rhythm of truth wrapped in melody. She didn't reinvent out of trend chasing. She did it because staying still meant abandoning herself. And that's the lesson. You're not betraying anyone by changing. Not your past, not your audience, not your younger self. You're just becoming more of who you really are. Taylor reminds us, you can shed skin without losing your soul. You can break the mold without breaking your spirit. Even when people try to reduce you to a single version, the country girl, the heartbroken ex, the drama queen, you get to say, no, I'm more than that. I'm growing. Because growth isn't a threat. It's a declaration. It says, I'm still writing. I'm not done. You can walk away from what no longer fits. You can shift directions without guilt. You can rise, fall, and rise again, and still be you the whole time. And if anyone calls that selfish, or confusing, or fake, just remember you're not here to be understood. You're here to be authentic. So choose the things you love. Let them shape you. And don't be afraid to start over. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is become someone new.